Hello, everybody. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. We have a tornado warning for the Esmond, Maddock, and Minnewacan areas. I'll have the details coming up in this version of Hutch's weather. If you're in the path of this dangerous storm, there was an earlier warning, but now it's taking a shift just a little bit to the south and east. These type of tornadoes are hard to detect a little bit, but there's definitely this little notch in the storm right here that is just off to the east of the Esmond area. It's moving to the east southeast at 30 miles per hour, and you can kind of make it out right here where this little pink and the red is right next to each other. It is basically right over the Highway 19 corridor right now, just north of Maddock. As the crow flies, we can give you a little bit of a measurement to give you some whereabouts of it. It's about 10 miles exactly northwest of Maddock, mainly north. But again, it's moving off to the east, and it's not moving at a terribly quick clip. Here's the newest radar scan coming in, still evident right over the Highway 19 corridor. So again, at a 31 mile per hour east southeast clip here. Let's go ahead and track the location of the tornado. It's right here along this leading edge of the storm, and we'll move it off to the southeast, about 25 to 30 miles per hour. We'll put it in Minnewacan by 120, just to the north of the Maddock area. Hopefully stays north, but you are in the warning in Maddock, so please seek shelter. You want to get to the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Get out of things like mobile homes, manufactured homes, and seek shelter in a more sturdy structure. And again, gusty straight line winds along this leading edge could exceed 70 mile per hour or more as well as it works its way off to the east southeast at 30 miles per hour or so. Line of thunderstorms moving into the Can-Do area right now. A watch has been extended for eastern North Dakota and western Minnesota until 7 a.m. for severe thunderstorms, for hail to 2 inches in diameter, and for gusty winds in excess of 75 or 80 miles per hour. So this includes Fergus Falls, it includes Detroit Lakes, it includes Bagley as well. So an active tornado warning along the leading edge of this system right here. There's a notch or a bite taken out of the storm. That is the location of the rotating or tornadic part of the storm. But notice this bright red activity here that's pushing its way. The red would indicate the motion is moving away from the radar, endearing and pushing right into Maddock. Maddock, you can expect west-northwest winds to be very stout, making their way up into your neck of the woods. So we take a look at some of the other radar data here that can help me analyze this storm just a little bit better for you. Sometimes these storms, let's see if we've got any kind of a debris signature with it. Let me see if I can turn that on here. One moment. Okay, so do you see the light blue there? That would indicate that there is different type of targets. They're not similar, so there's low similarity. That could be a debris signature right there. It's in the same spot as the notch taken out of the storm. That's at Highway 19. It is just off to the east of Minnewacan right now. So that, if we estimate that's a debris signature, as far as the crow flies here, let's see if I can get a estimate. It's about 15 miles almost due west of you folks in Minnewacan. So, dangerous storm system here. Do not mess around with this. Make sure that if you're in Minnewacan, seek shelter in the lowest floor of a sturdy structure. Get out of things like manufactured homes, mobile homes. If you have campers or RVs that you have are staying in, that's not going to offer enough protection. This is another look. Let's see. Yeah, we definitely have some increased target differences in the same exact area. So this could be a tornado on the ground with all of the data that we're seeing here. Again, rotating thunderstorm north of Maddock and just off to the west northwest of you folks in Minnewacan, right here. I'll go ahead and circle it with my Crayola here. This is the tornado motion towards the radar here in green. So that radar is in the Deering area near the area of Minot, and then this is the area of rotation right here. So that's it. Just not far from Brinsmade, it will be moving off to the east, and it's moving at a clip according to the National Weather Service's Doppler radar scan here. Let me gotta erase my pencil and put that away here. Okay. So this storm moving east at 30 miles per hour. So if that is the location of the latest scan here, and with the debris that was in this area, it's, well, that's an awful small trace. So let me try that one more time. Okay. 30 miles per hour. So Minnewacan, it will be in your ballpark by the time we get to 117, 145 to the Fort Totten area. Latest scan just coming in. Let me reevaluate that. Again, the motion of the storm moving off to the east is still showing that we got some greens right next to some reds here. It doesn't look to be as clear. Look at this, though. Way back here, there's another one embedded in the backside, possibly. Maybe a little bit of a outflow working its way in, but there is that north of Esmond, another little signature back on that side. But this is the one that's been warned for right here. Now there's a little evidence of more going on here. So along this gust front, we can get these brief, quick spin ups, and this one is dangerously close right here to the Maddock area. So there is some evidence of some shear just north of Maddock right now. There's one little couplet there. Let me see if I can effort anything at all. I don't think I'm going to be able to see anything from any of the DOT cameras out there, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to take a peek. So let's go ahead and do that while we got you on. Again, a dangerous situation, nighttime nocturnal tornadoes. No fun for anybody, but I do want you to make sure that you're heeding the warning for this, as this is a dangerous storm and it is heading in the general direction of the shores of Devil's Lake. So here we have a camera. Let me see. This is in the general vicinity. Oh boy, let's see. Okay. This is our Esmond area. I'm not, well, I'm seeing raindrops there. That must be lit by lightning. Look at that amazing shot there from the DOT camera. A lot of heavy rain. That's all we're seeing from that particular view at this time. Let's see if we can see up to the north in the Fessenden area, but I don't think we're going to see that far. So, nope, we're looking mainly at roads. So it's just too dark for anyone to see. There's not likely chasers out at this time. Sometimes the National Weather Service will have folks that are trained spotters go out in this kind of a situation, but when it's raining and the wind gusts are 70 miles per hour, it's completely and quite dangerous for folks to be out. So again, a tornado warning is in effect for the Maddock area, Minnewacan areas, for this thunderstorm that's working its way. It's a line of thunderstorms. It's until 1 o'clock in the morning. So for the next 12 minutes. Some sizable hail possible, and you can see Devil's Lake has now been placed because of this long line of thunderstorms making its way in into a severe thunderstorm warning. If you're in Candu, if you're in the Devil's Lake community as well, 1 inch diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour gusts, and again, a tornado warning embedded in that system as it's working its way off to the east. It's moving east southeast at 30 miles per hour. And again, the latest scans are showing that we still have some rotation showing up right here. There's a little notch taken out of the storm. It's very close to Maddock right now as the crow flies. We're talking about a very short distance from you folks in Maddock. So the one couplet here on the south side is only 4 miles north of Maddock. There's another one starting to show up out on this side with motion toward the radar, motion away from the radar on the other side. So not all of these are tornadoes on the ground, but we did get that evidence of some possible debris with this system as we were looking at the radar here moments ago. So let me clear the track on that, clear the line on that, and now let's see if we can take a look at the big picture. Once again, let's go back to the regular radar view and we'll get this back. Again, if you're in the Devil's Lake area, severe thunderstorms working their way through Beulah, Hazen, they're exiting your area and heading right into Bismarck, Mandan right now. Along the leading edge of this, New Salem, Sioux, a line of storms for you, center in Oliver County there. That is a dangerous line of storms making its way towards Mandan right now. 55 miles per hour as it's working its way off to the east southeast at 55 miles per hour. So it won't be but any time here, and that'll be moving into the capital city. So Line of thunderstorms, dangerous winds, gusty straight line winds will be the main threat. And we were talking in my last update here about these things congealing into one solid line. And that does look like that's what's going on. Behind it back here, even in Minot, we could still see some winds gusting behind the storm system that are quite strong. Let's take a look at the latest wind gusts that are being reported by NDAWN right now. The North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network can give us an idea of those gusts that we're seeing. So right now, here's a look at wind gusts on the backside of the storm. And even though the thunderstorms themselves are exiting some of these areas, there are some healthy gusts there approaching. I can't read that. Does that say 20 or 70? Good golly, I'm having a hard time reading that. Let me take a closer look. Okay. Well, we got nasty gusts over 40 miles per hour. Stark County north towards southern McKenzie County as we go out towards Billings and Golden Valley counties as well. So there are some healthy gusts approaching the Minnewacan area as well. Again, these storms are quite strong, and yeah, we're looking at 25 to 45 mile per hour gusts on the backside of these storms as they're working their way in and along the leading edge. We have gust reports that have hit 70 plus miles per hour tonight. So that's a quick update for you. Let's get back to the radar here for you folks in Devil's Lake. A severe thunderstorm warning is issued for this box. That's including the community of Devil's Lake. South of you, we do have that tornado warning in effect for the next 8 minutes. I will go, oh, but look, see this little hook now that's kind of starting to take shape here. Remember how I said north of Maddock, we were seeing that little couplet starting to form there? There is indeed some evidence there that we're getting some strong outflow on this side and inflow on that side. So rotation quite tight does look to continue to be evident in and around the Maddock area with a hail core out toward Esmond that might be strengthening a little bit on the Highway 19 corridor out there. So now, if you're looking at these storm systems and you're wondering what's going on and if will it affect your crops and was it going to hit south central North Dakota? It looks like we do have an arm of these storms that's working its way in the general direction of Grant County, Mott. So these are some strong storms here. It looks like wind might be the main threat. I'm not seeing a lot of pink reflectivities. Notice the hail size less than 3/4 of an inch in diameter, but the wind could be terrible with this storm system. And it says observed wind 60-mile-per-hour gusts with that Elgin, Mott, Lemon, Hettinger. So this is in that area south of Bismarck. And again, we do see moving right into Washburn right now, a very strong and windy line of storms. Let's see what we got going on here. About by Wilton, we're starting to see that leading edge of the storm making its way in as well. So nasty storms pushing their way in. The tornado warning does continue now for the next 7 minutes as we take a look at the latest scan. This is a scan from the Bismarck one. It might be interesting to dual Doppler this and look and see if we're still seeing some shear way up high in the cloud on this one. No, I'm not seeing it as strong. That's motion towards the radar there. I'm just not seeing it from that side. Let's go to the Minot radar in Deering and see what it's gonna give us with regards to the storm making its way toward Minnewacan right now. Yeah, indeed, we do have this area right here, bright reds, bright greens, right next to each other, moving in the general direction of Minnewacan and point south and north of Maddox. So it's going to be in between, right down the middle of this polygon issued by the National Weather Service. An excellent job of locating and tracking where this storm is going to be going here. So it's moving right down the middle of this, and anybody in this area should be seeking shelter in that interior room away from windows. You're getting very close in Minnewacan here. It's on the lake. If you're on the south shores of the big lake, get out of campers. This is a very nasty line of storms with gusty straight line winds, and we still have evidence of pretty tight rotation with this cell as it's working its way in toward your area. Here's another look at some of the, well, let's see here. We do have the bite taken out of the storm here, so there's no data in this section, no raindrops to really analyze. But what we are seeing, where we are seeing things that the radar beam can bounce back off of, we do have this blue, and that blue color would indicate lower matching, maybe some debris, possibly. Looks like that signature's starting to wind down and weaken just a little bit with it as well. So in Minnewacan, a windy line of storms is heading your way. There is still a tornado warning in effect if you're in Minnewacan, if you are in areas north of Maddock, and if you're along the Highway 19 corridor between Minnewacan and the turnoff to Maddock there, that you'll definitely want to be continuing to be in your safe space as well. The storm's a long ways away from the Grand Forks area, but they're moving at a little bit faster clip now as we look at the warning for the Devil's Lake line of storms. Weather Service analyzing these motion at about 37 to 40 miles per hour off to the east. So, with that particular line of motion, let me time those storms into Devil's Lake for you so you have a better idea. We'll go back to the single site radar data. Here we go. Wow, can do all the way down toward Devil's Lake. I'm seeing a little notch on this cell up here, not far from Belcourt as well, and just north of Can as that were. But let's go ahead and take a look. So from Can right here, there's a huge notch taken out of that storm still. I do believe that the potential is still there um, for that storm to be tornadic in southern parts of Benson County. In Candu, that storm will be arriving about now, but a Maddock by about 12:59, so it's not too far out from you. Dark weather, it'll be in your general area by 1:21 and then on towards Devil's Lake by 1:30. So about a half hour's time yet before this windy line of storms makes its way towards you. Prairie and Edmore are also in the path of this dangerous tornado warned storm on the south side and windy storm on the north side. Go ahead and flip this back over to the velocity thing and see if we see any other, suspect areas along the leading edge of this particular line of storms. I'm particularly looking at this Highway 281 corridor here, not far from Can we've got this little green, which would be motion towards Deering next to red there. So there is some spin or shear in this area and very windy as well. So if you're in Can it might be a really good idea to get to the basement, stay away from windows, particularly on the west side of the house, get to the lowest floor possible. And this storm is right on your doorstep heading towards Stark weather right now. So if you happen to be in the Stark weather area, the storm moving off to the east, and again, almost due east in this area, about 37 miles per hour. We'll go ahead and pop that up on an analysis for you. So it's near Candu, moving towards Stark weather. Here you go. Let's go with a 45 miles per hour, 118. I did that a little faster than the analysis simply because we're in between scans. So we can give or take a couple of minutes on these estimates here. And I'd rather have you be ready beforehand. By 118 Stark weather, the storm will be blowing into your neck of the woods on towards Edmore by around 144. So a solid, very windy line of storms pushing into Devil's Lake right now. Real good idea for anyone at any of these resorts or camping tonight to heed the warnings here because these are some very windy thunderstorms that are pushing their way through. I'm going to look at direct velocity, not the storm relative velocity now, to get an idea of what kind of wind speeds the radar is measuring at altitude here. This is an analysis tool. It gives me an idea what the radar is seeing up in the clouds. It does not mean this is what's hitting the ground, but it is possible for that energy or that wind speed to hit the ground. Look at, by the way, as we go through here, you see these bright reds that are blowing towards Devil's Lake right now. What kind of speed is this picking up? So moving into Can we've got 50 to 60 mile per hour winds in this bright red pocket right here. So we're seeing some winds along this area that are approaching that 60 mile per hour category. That's away from the radar, endearing by Minot. Here we have green that's motion towards, and that's showing up near Can and right here as well. So there is quite a bit of shear here just north of Can right here. And then as we go down to the south here, let's see what these wind speeds are right here. This is a new scan just in, and now this shear looks even more evident right over Can to Hutch. This is a pretty dangerous storm. area in and around Can right now. So if you're in Can it would be Hutch's preference for you to seek shelter in a low level of a sturdy structure. Get away from windows, and a couple of these wind gusts showing that we could be hitting the 60-mile-per-hour mark for sure. And this is again above the ground, so it's not necessarily what's hitting the ground. It can be a little bit stronger even in some spots. So tight rotation in and around can do. There is the tornado warning that has been allowed to expire at this particular time, but we still see this area right here of outgoing wind here in red and incoming wind here. So there is still a couplet associated with this cell that's moving in the general direction of you folks in Minnewacan. So dangerous, gusty winds. Everyone along this area is not going to see 60-mile-per-hour winds, but isolated locations are going to have gusts that high, maybe a little higher. And a few of you could see the possibility for some spin ups. Look at some of the velocities moving through the Wells County area here. We're picking up some 50s and 60s. We may be able to see what's coming into the Bismarck area better by flipping over and looking at the Bismarck area radar. What are the gusts measured by the Doppler radar heading into Bismarck right now? Okay, if you're in Mandan, if you're in the north side of the Bismarck Mandan area, these wind gusts will be pretty pretty good estimates of what the wind is going to do, although the wind is moving more westerly than right towards Bismarck and Mandan. Let's get an estimate. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts at an angle. That means that's what the radar is measuring right toward the radar there at the airport, not far from you folks in Lincoln. And this is moving across the beam. These gusts are moving this way. So those winds are possibly as high as 70 miles per hour, maybe a little more. Let's see what the Weather Service's warning is for. But there could be isolated places getting 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts from this line of storms just based on the calculations that we're seeing there. So essentially, very gusty winds making their way through this area as we speak. Elgin, New Leipzig, Flasher, Carson, these areas, Morristown, we are seeing some very windy thunderstorms make their way through your neck of the woods. Let's go to the single site radar data here. A little bit of a hail core north of Lemon, right here. A little bit of a hail core on that particular cell. So the National Weather Service warning for your area is for 3/4 inch diameter hail for the area. But I think this little guy right down here with the pink on it could even have a slightly larger hail from it that is forming right now as we speak. The wind threat has been observed at 60 miles per hour. So let's suffice it to say right now we have no tornado warnings. Please excuse me. I do see that moving into Devil's Lake right now. This line of storms here from Can south towards Maddock has a couple of areas where we're getting these jagged edges on here, and there is a possibility for a tornado along this leading edge in a couple of places. So I would really suggest seeking shelter again in your tornado safe place. Get out of campers, manufactured homes, and mobile homes that are on Devil's Lake. Now is the time to move. You do have a little bit of time yet in Devil's Lake itself, but on the western shores of the lake near Brinsmead and moving in toward the Minnewacan areas, yeah, these storms are quite strong. So we do have strong thunderstorms. Some hail is making its way towards you, but the main threat, gusty straight line winds. And again, an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out in that leading line or leading edge. So that is what's going on right now. No active tornado warnings. I'm going to go ahead and see if I do have any questions from any of you. Thank you very much for watching. Mike, keep it up there, eh? I'm doing my best that I can in Jamestown, and we don't need it. We'll pass. There is a long line of storms heading your way, and I'm hoping that it doesn't march all the way through. Linda says, will there be another derecho? Yeah, we hope not. We're not seeing that set up this way just yet, but certainly notice how this is more of a straight line moving from the north central part of North Dakota down to southwest North Dakota. Yeah, but we used to have three independent thunderstorm clusters here that are all congealing into one now. So, hey, Jeremy, good to have you on from the Devil's Lake area. probably getting a little noisy. Anything Fargo needs to be concerned about? There's a new severe thunderstorm watch until 7 in the morning. It looks like to me around that 4 to 6 a.m. time frame for Fargo, these storms will be moving through. That watch doesn't, oh, I'll put it on the screen for you here. That watch, it goes all the way out into parts of central um, Minnesota, including Clearwater County, and you folks in Bagley, all the way out towards, well, all of Marshall County, Minnesota, Roseau County, Minnesota. Becker and Ottertail counties are also included in the watch. So that's what's going on right now. If you are in Devil's Lake, on the lake, please heed these warnings. This is a very nasty, windy line of thunderstorms. We should be able to get some measurements from some of the instrumentation out in these areas as well. Larry says, how do you think it will be when this is around Leonard? There's a chance we could have some severe storms in and around Leonard and the Fargo area, but you know what? There is just no way to tell whether the storm is going to steer its way around. It looks like a solid line of storms right here, right now, but I can guarantee you not every community is going to get hit hard. The radar now is seeing what looks like a solid line of storms, but it truly is not. It literally is individual thunderstorm cells that are lining up in a long line out there. How about Grand Forks? Yes, there's a chance you're going to watch until 7 a.m. In fact, some of the windier line of thunderstorms will arrive in your area first, but it still looks like it's going to be after about 3 in the morning. As we take a look at the linear distance that this storm is from the Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, Emerado areas here, we're looking at 99 miles, moving at 40 miles per hour. So over 2 hours, that puts you there after 3 to 3:30, unless it speeds up just a little bit. So thank you very much. Now let's go ahead and clear off my line. And now let's go ahead and take a quick peek at any questions from my Facebook friends as well. Thanks, Facebook. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for the 70,000 follows. I just crossed that threshold. You helped me do it and you helped me do it today. Thanks a lot. Your question about Cavalier, it does look like if you take a peek at the radar behind me, that these storms are kind of starting to fizzle out along the international border, and most models were showing them maintaining. Let's see what the Mayville radar is showing, though. Maybe the Minot radar not showing all of them all the way up to the border. So let's see if we can pull that in and see if there's a solid line of storms here. Now, again, not every town is going to get them, but as we zoom in, you're going to see moving into Munich here, we got a strong thunderstorm, and there's a warning not too far from you, but we got a strong one over Rock Lake, Sarles, Calvin, Wales. They'll be moving in your general direction. What's it looking like for Lincoln about to get off work? Sabrina, thanks for asking. Severe thunderstorm warning for your area in Lincoln, North Dakota. If you're asking about Lincoln, Nebraska, not so much. What do we expect? Or do we expect? No, we don't expect a tornado in Maddock, but there was a tornado warning moments ago. And in fact, if we look at the Maddock area, that storm is moving through. Do you see this little bite taken out of the storm between Minnewacan and Maddock? That is where the rotation was with the tornado warning. That tornado warning has been allowed to expire. If we look at the radar data here, we're not seeing greens and reds next to each other in or around Maddock. There is no more shear showing up on the leading edge of that particular storm as it's working its way into that general direction there. But up by Can-Do, I am seeing some. So please keep in mind, these gusty wind storms not only can be blowy, but they can also be spinny as well. And at night, we understand. I'm not here to try to scare anybody. I'm just trying to use my expertise to pick out areas where I would tell my family to get in the basement. Okay, so that's what we're doing. On the southern reaches of Towner County near Can-Do, there is some shear there. Look at the bright red next to the bright green near Edgeland. That area there, I would definitely say is some pretty strong rotation showing up on that particular cluster of the cell. These are brief, but they are not weak because the wind speeds in there are already quite strong. So if you're in Lincoln, let's go to you and answer your question. You got a line of storms blasting its way through the Bisman area right now, and here you go in Lincoln. Lincoln's where the radar is. There you go. The let's see. you can kind of make out where the leading edge of the storm is. Thank you very much, Miranda. I appreciate your comments. Here is this leading edge right here. That's the windy part of the storm, and it's heading into Lincoln right now. And if you're out there in the Minokan area, it's going to be on its way towards you. St. Mary's down here on the south side of town on the hill. That wind is going to blow up the Missouri River Valley and just right up that hill, and you're going to see a dust fly up there along with the gusty winds. So the leading edge of the wind you can see here by the color change in the red and the sharp bright greens. That's very strong, and there's extremely strong winds even on the backside of the storm between Glen Olin and New Salem right now as well. If you happen to be down south a little bit farther, it's a little more difficult to see the bright colors because, well, the wind is perpendicular to the beam and not parallel to it, so that makes it a little bit harder for the radar to give us a good estimate or measurement of what it's seeing there. I'm going to go out to the Deering radar here outside of Minot. It's a little bit closer to the storms in the Can-Do area and the Leeds area. And let's take a look at what it's going to show Hutch here. Maddock, we do have pretty good spin showing up near you right now still. So what do we got? It's 111. I know that. Past Hutch's bedtime. Severe thunderstorm warning's been issued. Okay, thank you. New tornado warning's been issued. Um, That was a while ago. Okay, good. So just getting caught up. No new tornado warning. I was reading something that's not live right now. So let's go ahead and take a look. See the little green area right here, not far from Minnewacan. That storm there, not far from Maddock, I should say as well, has some spin showing up in it. There's a gusty line of storms right now moving into the Devil's Lake area. It's over Church's Ferry right now. The gusty winds are blowing away from the Minot area, so you're going to get wind gusts from the west northwest with this storm system. They could exceed 60 miles per hour in isolated places. 1 inch diameter hail is going to be possible, and a brief spin up of a tornado possible. Here is still evidence of that type of thing showing up in and around Can-Do. We'll go ahead and look at the radar here just a little bit. And we're going to go up in elevation angle and see if that spin is still in the same spot. Yep, there it is. So we got that's going a little bit higher up in the cloud, and we still have evidence of it there, even higher up in the cloud. So that's that low level updraft on this storm still showing some signs of some rotation there on the storm relative velocities at different layers through the clouds. So we do have that showing up there. This is what's going on as we go across and into our 115 time frame. These storms are, as I mentioned, a long ways away from you folks in Grand Forks and Amaretto. They're about 99 miles away from Grand Forks, East Grand Forks, moving at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So you're 2 hours away, 315 will be in Grand Forks. That seems to be like a solid bet there. Now that's an idea for you. Jamestown, you can, yes, you're sleeping in Jamestown, you're not watching, but these storms will be moving at about 50 miles per hour down the interstate. That's 2 hours for you. So a line from Grand Forks to Jamestown. I'm going to get my crayon out here. Shazam, Shazoom. Here we go. I thought I asked for my crayon. Oh yeah, where's my crayon? Okay, from Grand Forks to Fargo, this is the 3 a.m. line. There's a 3. How about that for scribble? Okay. And now as we go out this way, I'm just gonna kind of march this on about this far out. And this is gonna be the 5. Okay. And then we'll go out a little bit farther. And remember, this watch is in effect until 7. This will push us out to about 7. Park Rapids, Bemidji, Bay of the Blue Ox. This is 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 7 a.m. These storms can speed up. So this is just using a linear calculation and estimation by Hutch Johnson here. So that's what we have going on. Solid line of severe thunderstorm warnings right now from Devil's Lake through Bismarck, Mandan, straight south through Sioux County here, down there near the South Dakota border. Latest radar looks like this as we take a look at the regional radar. I'm going to take a snapshot of this and I will post it. My 7 looks a little sick, but we'll go with it. Okay, we're going to go with Save it in this spot. And away we go. Okay. Estimated time of arrival for you asking questions 3, 5, and that's a 7. That's a bad 7. But for now, that's my 7. Wind. Gusty winds will be the main threat right now. We've got this Boeing line segment making its way into Devil's Lake. If you have reports of severe weather or damage, please report those to your local authorities. You can also upload your photos when it's safe to do so at hutchesweather.com. Line of thunderstorms working its way off to the east at between 40 and 55 miles per hour, depending on where you are. Looks like it will be later and later as we look in towards the Wahpeton Breckenridge area. We're talking about your morning drive time and places near Fargo out towards Holly. And if you happen to be in the Thief River Falls area or Red Lake Falls area, looks like a 6 a.m. arrival time between 5 and 6 for you as well. That's a look at your weather. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Until next time, stay tuned, stay safe. I'll keep you updated here regularly. You're watching Hutch's Weather. Thanks for your support. Thanks for following me on Facebook. Thanks for your subscriptions on YouTube. And for now, I'm going to bid you adieu, and I'll keep you posted.